Mike's Daily Podcast.
I haven't done a podcast from this here room in quite a while, so this is exciting for me and probably not for you. So it's
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I don't know what episode this is, but that's okay. I'm gonna get myself situated and I'm going to say how. That's pretty much it for all my singing today. It's been one of those days where I don't feel like singing at the moment. So.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And that's the sound of a microphone being smashed around.
Mike's
Thank you for listening
Daily
to my daily show.
Podcast.
It's not the Daily Show, though.
Yeah.
Mike's Daily Podcast. Hot! For some of you, it's so hot. Here, it's kind of cool. And that's so unusual. Usually, we're roasting, and the rest of the country is, California. Ooh, and now more and more people are jumping into the whole recall Gavin Newsom thing. That's getting big. People are like, I want to do it. I should run. And yeah, well, good luck with that. We'll see what that leads to. So, why am I in this room? Why did I talk about heat? Why is this thing skipping around? I don't even know if this is recording or not, but that's okay. These are all important questions that we will answer today. Summer brings welcome outdoor activities. The season also brings risk in the form of heat-related sickness and fatalities. According to the Center for Disease Control, that would be the CDC, as you well know. The CDC, from 2004 to 2018, an average of 712 heat-related deaths occurred in the U.S. annually. And extreme heat sends more than 65,000 Americans to the emergency room each year.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Anarchy! I don't even know what that means, but I love it!
And now we return you to our regularly scheduled program with Mike Matthews.
You know, sweating is the body's natural mechanism to regulate its temperature. The hypothalamus, a section in the brain, helps the body maintain its baseline temperature, which is around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. When the body's temperature becomes too high or low, the brain sends signals to organs, muscles, and the nervous system to help the body return to normal temperature. And then temperatures of more than 104 degrees Fahrenheit combined with a relative humidity. Basil didn't like humidity, much like his dad. I wonder what Basil would think of Rodler and Patches, the two stray feral cats that have been popping by my house lately and my lovely lady friend's been feeding. Probably would not really condone that activity. Agree with that, but... So that degree, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, humidity of 60%, weaken the body's cooling mechanism and can affect the body's ability to function, causing damage to the brain and major organs. Heat stress causes symptoms ranging from relatively minor, such as heat cramps, to life-threatening conditions such as heat exhaustion and heat stroke. I think the podcast picture today will be another fantastic shot from a couple Wednesdays ago when we went to Half Moon Bay and had such a wonderful day. And I got to pet little tiny goats, little baby goats, and their little faces and their little human teeth. It's so eerie. They got like little human teeth. And their eyes, aren't their eyes so odd? So we'll post a podcast picture from that glorious day. And you can see it at MikesDailyPodcast.com. The only podcast with a podcast picture. Nobody else does that in the world, I think. We'll see. Thank you for listening to FF episode 2268. And the late great Basil the Boxer we had some times when he'd get a little overheated because he was a boxer, and they have a hard time, with the breathing and keeping enough air flow going. So he'd have to stop, and I would have to try. Am I going to have to pick you up today? Different heat stress symptoms. Heat cramps typically occur after intense exertion in the high heat and cause thirst, sweating, fatigue, and painful cramps in the arms or legs and abdomen. Heat exhaustion is brought on by excessive loss of salt and water. It can result in weakness, headache, thirst, vomiting, muscle cramps, and dizziness. If treated promptly, the symptoms typically last 30 to 60 minutes or less, with complete recovery within 24 to 28 hours. Then there's heat stroke. That occurs when the body loses the ability to sweat and fails to cool down. It is a life-threatening condition and needs urgent medical attention. Symptoms include hot and dry skin, high fever, rapid heart rate, confusion, fatigue, dizziness, nausea, seizures, and unconsciousness. Like, all of that would happen to me if I was in the Death Valley. Instantly. Without promptly addressing symptoms, heat stroke can cause damage to the brain and internal organs and cause death. Who's at risk? The very young and very old people who are less fit, and those participating in extreme sports for long periods are more at risk for heat illness. People who are obese, have chronic medical conditions, are on certain medications, work outdoors, or work in hot indoor conditions can also be at risk. Did you hear today about Uber drivers? Because nobody was using them anymore. And now taxi drivers are like, ha-ha! Oh, and because this is great. What a business model this is. I hope they disappear. They make me so angry. Urgh. I'm turning into the Mike Hulk, the Mulk. Because first they had that horrendous, as we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valleymont today, the last place on earth. They did this horrendous, what was that? The push for the proposition to get passed. And they fooled us. They deliberately went and fooled us. They went to fool Californians by saying, hey, look at this proposition. This will regulate Uber, and they'll have to do this and do this. Isn't Uber great? We're going to make them do this. And so people were like, yeah, regulating Uber is good. And then it also placated the people that loved Uber and the drivers. I'm a driver. This proposition will really help me. And then it gets passed because everyone got fooled, and nobody was really digging into the behind the story of it. And it turned out it was because Uber was like, oh, California's going to really regulate us. California had passed something. They were all set to just regulate Lyft, Uber, everybody, and make it really tough for them. And then they got it around it through this. Shows you how gullible Californians are. That we have to do this whole Gavin recall thing. Wow. I don't know. I mean, if you live in California, you know about this, but everybody, every single day, even though the weather's rather nice in the Bay Area these days, in a couple of months, we're going to have the smoke in the air. It's going to be terrible. It's hard to live and everybody's going to pull out their particle control, analytics. Look how many air particulates per second per square inch there are. We're breathing that much right now. Yet if they pulled that same thing out like later in the year when they've forgotten all about fires and whatnot, it'll probably still show the same amount of particulates. We're breathing all kinds of crazy stuff. We always have. Yours truly grew up in the San Fernando Valley. My mom and I, we'd head over to the beach, Marina Del Rey, during a Sunday afternoon. I'd play on the sand. She'd get irradiate herself with the sun. And I'd go play in the water and everything, build sandcastles, play in the waves. We'd come home, go over the Sepulveda Pass into the San Fernando Valley and see this wall. It was like we were submerging ourselves into this orange haze Just let's go down and you could smell the sulfur. Horrible. And this is why, whenever I get really angry at all the stupid smog rules, like I was complaining about that with my Saturn getting taken out by the smog people, going, nope, it doesn't pass the little chip, the microchip test. Since it doesn't pass that microchip test, then you're off the road. The car still it's off the road because it couldn't detect if it was putting out any carbon monoxide and whatnot. So this is what we have in California. We complain about all kinds of stuff, how much we breathe, even though I breathed all kinds of crazy stuff as a kid. I'm apparently still alive. I don't think I have asthma. Although, yeah, when I walk up a steep hill, it's I feel like I'm going to die. Well, anywho, the thing is, we Californians, we tend to get really, no, get him out. We did this with the guy that Arnold Schwarzenegger threw out, Gray Davis. So I don't see anybody that's like Arnold right now. I heard Larry Elder's going to run. The former Bruce Jenner's going to run. Sorry, I forgot her name. Caitlyn, sorry. I'm still living in the 70s where Bruce Jenner was on all the cereal boxes. And then there was, who else is running? Somebody, it's a who's who is what it is right now. All kinds of folk running against Gavin because people are mad. People are like, look at Target. Target's closing up 9 o'clock at night. Target's closing at 9 because it's getting shoplifted so bad. People just walking in, taking whatever they see. They won't get prosecuted unless they take over $900 worth of stuff. So if they're under $900 worth of stuff, well, that's okay. They're just walking out with it. So it's the wild, wild west here in California these days, folks. People living under bridges. People, I know someone very close to me, and this didn't happen recently. This is a while ago. But she's a very kind person. And there was, she was eating a pizza. She had 2 pieces of pizza, 2 slices. And then I think she had a little slice of tiramisu. That was her lunch. Not the healthiest thing, but... So she's eating, and she sees a homeless person, and the homeless person says, hey, I want your tiramisu. And she said, you know what? I'm going to eat that, but here, take this slice of pizza. So the guy takes her slice of pizza and then smashes the tiramisu with his hand and walks off. Yes. Well, my friend says, hey, that's a mentally ill person for you. That, you know what, they can't... But yet that's not appropriate behavior. Who wants to be nice to anyone if that's going to be the result? But yes, you should be nice anyway. But first and foremost, be careful of the sun. Because of all that stuff I talked about at the beginning. You can get stroke and whatnot. Proper preparation and preventive care can help avoid heat-related illnesses. Dress light, lightweight, light-colored, loose-fitting clothes allows air circulation and transfers heat away from the body. Light colors and fabrics such as cotton, loose linen, and rayon keep the body cool. Rayon. Sun protective clothing and well-vented wide-brimmed hat or loose cotton bandana help regulate body heat. Stay hydrated along with drinking plenty of water. Consume foods with a high water content that can be helpful. Watermelons, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, tomatoes, cucumbers, cantaloupe, cabbage, celery, spinach, zucchini, all great foods to eat throughout the day. Refrain from exercising in the midday heat. Schedule training and playing times around the cooler parts of the day. Shorten the intensity and duration of the workout and wear moisture-wicking fabric. If you begin to overheat, stop exercising, move to a shaded area. Apply an ice pack to the back of your neck, an ice pack, and consume cold water or a sports beverage. And be aware, and sports beverage, be careful of the sports beverages. There's a heck of a lot of sugar in those. Be aware of the latest temperature and heat index forecast. Plan accordingly. The heat index is the body's feels-like temperature. When relative humidity is combined with the air temperature, that's what it feels like, the index. In hot cars, a parked car, of course, the temperature rises rapidly, and never, ever, ever leave a pet in a car with the windows up. You want to roll the windows down, and even then, you really shouldn't do it. Do not stay or leave anyone in a closed parked vehicle in hot weather. Always check the rear seat of the vehicle before you lock it and walk away, and place something in the passenger seat that will prompt you to remember to check on children and pets while driving and when parked. I remember with Basil, I would park in the shade, roll all the windows down, and come back right away. Heat stroke can be a life-threatening emergency. Learn to identify early signs. Call 911. Move the person to a shaded and cool area and raise their legs and feet slightly. Loosen the person's clothes and remove the unnecessary clothing, shoes, and socks. Rehydrate the person with water or sports drink. Watch out for sugar. Lower the person's body temperature with a cold compress or fans, and monitor the person's temperature every few minutes. This all from the Costco Connection, where I sometimes go, even though they don't let me have hot dogs anymore. And they're like, it's too late. You missed out. Look, we're outside a cafe anyway, where it's pretty nice right now, not too hot. Look who's here. Hello, Michael Master. It's Madame Rootabega. And yes, all of those things you said were very helpful. Oh, did you ever have heat stroke? No. Wait, we did this wrong. Have you ever been to the San Fernando Valley? Yes. You ever wear rayon? Yes. Heat stroke? No. Look who else is here. Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the bird attendant. And this is Bison Bentley. Mike, that picture of that house in the last podcast picture was really nice day. Yeah, nice hat. Yeah. Thank you. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. You can chime in about anything. We talked about 336mm daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6mm as in Mike Matthews, daily as in what this podcast has now been for 2 days in a row. I took a day off. You just fine. Have to once in a while get interrupted with that. And with more ways to contact me and check out the other things about the show, it's A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com.
Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!